To get the Crime Writers on After Show right now, go to patreon.com/partners in crime media.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie, and this is Crime Writers On. Crime Writers On is the original true crime review podcast that digs into true crime, pop culture, other podcasts. And on this episode, an FBI agent leads a task force hunting those ripping off biker drug houses. But double crosses abound among the gang and those investigating them. We'll review the HBO original series, Task. Joining me to get that done and more is true crime author, TV journalist, and host of These Are Their Stories, the love of my life, Kevin Flynn. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Rebecca.
Also with us is private investigator, certified pet detective, resident cat lady, and author Laura Bricker. Hi, Laura.
Hey, Rebecca.
And finally, author of the City Trilogy, host of Rip Current, More Like Ancient Aliens, Strange Arrivals, and our Patreon book club podcast, Toby Ball. Hi, Toby.
Hey, Rebecca.
So, Kevin, this is Monday's program.
It is.
What's coming up on Thursday's show?
Well, before we get to Thursday, I got to say that you got to join us on Wednesday to hear Thursday's show. On Wednesday night, we are going to be doing our live broadcast of our review, Season 5 of Only Murders in the Building. We've done this for the past couple of Only Murders finales. It's been a lot of fun. So we're going to go live Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's a couple hours ahead of you on the West Coast and several behind for you in Australia. And you can join a couple of ways. The easiest way we're going to tell you is go to crimewriterson.com. Right on the top of the page, you'll see a link to live stream, and it's going to take you to our Riverside audience room, the auditorium. You'll be able to log right in and watch everything. And I think the live stream might pop up in different areas. It might be on YouTube if we can get that work. If we can make Facebook work. It's all technical stuff, but don't worry, you'll see it. And you'll be able, if you want to watch it later, you'll see it on YouTube later on.
So go to crimewriterson.com for the link to join that this coming Wednesday.
Yes. And then on Thursday, you're going to hear that. That's where on Thursday in your audio feed, you'll hear our review of Only Murders in the Building.
All right. Well, Kevin, one thing I want to mention before we start taping.
Yeah.
We had a visitor at our house last night, 3 visitors, and we have some incredible video footage from those visits, do we not?
Yeah, you'll remember we talked about how we had some bears, big mama bear climb up on our deck trying to go for bird feeder number 1. Well, they found bird feeder number 2 last night.
Uh-huh.
And this is the bird feeder. This is the one that has the camera in it.
Yes.
So we got a bird's eye view.
We have 9 minutes of video.
Of bear attack.
Oh, wow.
We got to see the nose, the eye right up close. If you ever wondered what it would be like to get knocked over by a bear and dragged around on your back, looking up at the sky on your lawn, and then have a bear eat you up close, hear it, then this video is for you.
Yes, it's incredible.
Does it come in on like your phone when you have an alert like that? Do you have? Like,
I turn the alerts off. But Teddy sent us this morning on our family group chat from the Ring camera in the backyard. He's like, the bears were back. And in the backyard, it shows them walking around. And in the front yard, it shows them walking around our cars, like in a circle. And I was like, I wonder if it got caught on the camera on the feeder. And I opened that video up, and it was just a bear's face like this. And then, whoop. And then a lot of chomping, bear nose, bear paws, baby bear face watching the whole thing. 9 minutes. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's the best video I've ever seen in my life.
And you can see the rest of it on our next Netflix series, Blue Earth, for a whole segment, and then you shoot off to the jungles of Africa, where you see a completely different bit of wildlife.
And don't at me and scold me about having my bird feeder out. I know
it was a mistake.
I know
it was a happy mistake.
Sounds like The Revenant.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of in slow motion.
Exactly. A lot of chomping.
Yeah.
More chomping.
If it was just seed.
Chomping and snoring.
But just seed, not Leonardo DiCaprio.
No, exactly.
I share this on my personal Facebook page. Maybe I'll share the videos for the group so everybody can see them. All right. So Kevin, should we talk about the thing we're talking about on this program?
Let's do that.
All right. Leading off.
The SAC called me. They want me to put together a task force. I know. I'm sorry. I assigned Maria Herrera to lead, but she got ordered to bed rest.
What is it?
Oh, it's something about a leaky uterus.
What's the job?
Returning to work after a family tragedy, FBI agent Tom Brandis is put in charge of a task force to find who has been robbing drug stash houses run by the ruthless Darkhearts motorcycle gang. Robbie Prendergrast is out for revenge since the bikers killed his brother for sleeping with a leader's wife.
Jason shook my hand with the same hand he used to beat your father's brains out. And I had to stand there and fucking nod my head and say thank you for coming. When I knew and you knew what they'd done to him. So yeah, I'm gonna take their money. Yeah, I'm gonna take their money so we can have a better life.
But when a holdup turns deadly, Robbie leaves with the 8-year-old son of the people they just killed. Now, both the bikers and law enforcement are looking for the stolen drugs and the kidnapped boy. Meanwhile, Tom fears someone on the task force is sabotaging the investigation.
And you vetted them all?
No, I didn't vet him. I inherited him.
Darkhearts are getting info from someone.
You think it's coming from inside task?
My advice? Suspect everyone.
Mark Ruffalo and Tom Pelphrey star in the HBO original drama Task. As Tom struggles with his shattered family, Robbie searches for a way out of his impossible situation. In addition to its gripping characters and gritty violence, the crime series is rich in the themes of loss, vengeance, and redemption. Spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about plot points from Task. So if you want to remain spoiler-free, go to the estimated time code in our show notes for a thumbs up or thumbs down review. So, Laura, Mayor of Easttown, arguably more of a crime drama. This, I think, is sort of in the same vein, takes part in the same place in the world. Delco accents, lots of dark stuff. Do you think this actually is just a crime drama?
I think it starts off as a crime drama, but it really becomes more of a family drama and a drama about relationships. And, you know, the thing that really struck me about this as I was watching it, I felt like there was so much at stake, like emotionally, for so many of the characters in this show. Most of the characters have this well-developed backstory where you could see what was at stake for them, what was the emotional impact. And a lot of that dealt with family ties, family relationships, whether blood or chosen family. So there is the crime element, but the stronger part of it as it got going on was this relationship.
Yeah. Kevin, what do you think about the performances in Task?
Oh my God, there's so many great ones here. I mean, Mark Ruffalo, I think is fairly good as, you know, sort of the sad sack. Did he really get that pudgy, or do you think he's wearing a little belly sack there to make him look?
I think Mark Ruffalo can play whatever size body he wants to play, and who knows if he actually, he's a schlumpy guy.
He certainly holds himself, the character really holds himself as kind of, schlubby, not athletic. Dad bod, kind of a little hunched over, like, kind of hiking up the pants a little bit.
Still beats up that biker.
That's
Still
right.
beats up the biker,
We
right?
forget he actually is an FBI agent.
Right. But I mean, they're not playing that to just sort of like, it's like make him look out of shape. He's sort of coming back from, this emotional place that he had been. And so it's kind of like telegraphing to the audience that, he's got to pull himself together. But I mean, I'm really blown away by Tom Pelphrey.
He's awesome.
He just absolutely shines in this. I feel like he's so very soulful and believable as this morally conflicted character.
You had a life.
A life? What life? Breaking my back out there to stink like other people's shit and trash. Come home and have my kids ask me if their mother's ever coming back. And I ain't got an answer. No. I'm fucking tired of that life. I'm fucking tired of that life.
It's kind of like one of these anti-heroes that you're rooting for. So you kind of want to see him get away with this because his brother was wronged, and plus he's pretty ballsy and clever for trying to put together these drug takedowns or these drug house ripoffs. But I just think Emmy nominations coming his way. Yeah,
I think Emilia Jones as Maeve is incredible in this. That's Robbie, Tom Pelphrey's character's niece. Mm-hmm. And she really is, to me, the heart of the show.
No, it's not about money. It's about not having the weight of the goddamn world on my shoulders. Buy me out. With what? Oh, the money from whatever crazy-ass shit you and Cliff are doing out there in the middle of the night?
Maeve,
I don't want to fucking hear it, Robbie. Don't want to hear, don't want to know.
What's funny about this show is this is one of those shows where, with the exception of Mark Ruffalo and Tom Pelphrey and Martha Plimpton, almost everyone else is either British or Irish. Yeah. Which is a thing you learn when you watch the little after videos on HBO, which I highly recommend watching for this show in particular, because seeing these folks not in this gritty Delco backwoods look, and seeing them like in their regular hair and regular makeup and regular clothes with their Irish and English accents is so interesting to me. So Toby, I'm looking ahead at your notes and I'm just going to tip and say of the four of us, you seem to enjoy this the least. What do you think about that transition from crime drama and going deeper into the family drama aspect of the show?
I didn't like it at all. I liked the first couple episodes. I thought were good while it was a crime drama. And I think that's what he does well, the writer. Once it turns into more of a like melodrama or whatever, it's about families and relationships and all this stuff. I just kind of felt like this was all stuff that had kind of been gone through before, and that his sort of approach is sort of this maximalist approach. It's just like, let's throw everything, like, let's have everybody die and let's have everybody have like problems and, you know, let's have people die in the most like thematically satisfying possible way for the show. And
That's my saran wrap.
It just felt very...
I closed my eyes during that part.
It was a horrible scene, yeah.
It all felt very contrived to play on your emotions, in my opinion. And there were subplots that I think were only there to help bring out themes, but didn't really move the plot in any direction, the main plot in any direction. So I don't know. To me, it felt very clumsy and ham-handed. And I was so psyched for the show after the first couple episodes. I'm like, this is awesome. And then I started watching, I think it was the third episode I started watching. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Were the first two episodes like this? Why was I into this? Because suddenly the conversations, once he starts talking more about feelings and relationships and stuff like that, man, the dialogue is absolutely fucking brutal. And
to you.
Well, I mean, this is one of those shows where nobody can just say something. If it's something that's major, they've got some story in their background about how they used to go to the old swimming hole and gosh, that water was so cold, it would make your heart explode if you just jumped in. So, you know, it's like these fucking stories. And that's, to me, and maybe I'm wrong, but to me, that's a writer who doesn't just want to have dialogue like normal people, like they want to make like art or something a little more profound. So you just end up with these fucking long digressions. And it's just like, come on, dude, just get to the point. Like, you can tell him that he can go home. You don't have to talk about some fucking bird that should have migrated a while ago and is still around. And it's like a metaphor.
It's called a vagrant.
A what?
Vagrant. It's a bird that strayed outside its normal range, strayed so far that it's forgotten how to find its way home. Most of them don't survive.
Wow. What a lovely story. Thank you for sharing, Tom. I've kidnapped the world's most depressing human.
That wears thin very, very quickly. Anyway, why don't more positive people talk about this?
That's okay. You can weigh in. I actually, it's funny because I found the grittier...
Toby doesn't want to take your shit. He's like, I'm going to stand by my opinion.
That's fine. That's what the show is about. It's about having differing opinions about things. I found some of this show, as Kevin knows, really hard to watch. It's a very violent show. There's some very violent scenes. There's Cliff's death is especially brutal. I actually read what that episode was about, and I was like, okay, I know I can't watch this part. Esquire literally wrote, this is one of the most difficult deaths I've ever seen on the screen. And I was like, oh, fuck. But yeah, I really loved the show, and I loved the arty aspects of it. But I'm a person like who loved Deadwood, right? And Deadwood is the least realistic show potentially that's ever been on television. It's a Shakespearean drama that takes place in a Western town, and like, you know, who are the characters in it, Kevin? We have
Calamity Jane. We have like the hooker with a heart of gold, and it's like the dialogue is all Shakespearean. I love it. I love the sort of elevated play on that, and I also love the range of really weird characters. Like Laura, this task force is like, what's that show we watch, Kevin, where everybody's Slow Horses, like the Slow Horses task force, right?
Yeah.
Like all the losers put together in this thing.
Yeah, I called it the Island of Misfit Toys.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so we don't even get like an actual like nice house to put this task force in. I mean, he's out. I'm like, how are they even getting internet coverage in this like trap house that they picked up or whatever it is that they're operating out of that looks like a haunted house? So you have Lizzie, who right off the bat, she plays that character, I think, very well, because you find yourself just so frustrated with her social awkwardness as she is approaching the investigation, and she's always a little bit disheveled, and you're like, this person's a train wreck.
Just take the fucking recliner, okay? And the Keurig, and just fucking take the TV that my Aunt Carol bought us as a wedding gift. Please be...
Good morning, Tom Brandis.
Lizzie.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna be right on.
And then you've got Bullseye, the other female detective, has some trauma in her background, and you know she's got scars, and but she's a really good shot. And then you've got what's his face from House of the Dragon,
Grasso,
who was Sir Christian, wasn't his name? The guy who was he was the guy that was the special sex friend of the Queen in House of the Dragon.
The White Cloak, yeah.
Yes,
that's where I know him from.
Yeah,
I know. I was like, ooh, it's the dragon sex guy.
Yeah.
And then you got the character of Tom, who looks like this sort of bumbling, like you were saying, like plays it well, though. Like he's just kind of shuffling along out at the career fair, trying to recruit people. And you're like, how is this guy ever going to do anything at this house in the woods? So I will say they did set it up to give you, I feel like, some extremes in terms of the people that were involved. I didn't necessarily think we needed to have like the almost romance between those two characters. But again, that adds to the stakes at the end when she gets plowed over on the bridge.
Yeah, Laura, I'm with you. I don't know why the FBI thinks the best place to set up a 4-person task force is this abandoned house in the wilderness that Tom needs to clean up himself.
Yeah.
Right? Get all the Ajax and scrub everything out, sweep out all the leaves so they all could be in this one house instead of, I don't know, a conference room?
It's like they're undercover. I didn't understand that either.
Yeah, it's like, why do you got to be way out there? You know, like, you're right. I'm sure that there's no 5G.
Yeah.
Like, why do I got to drive way into, like, being in the woods is not, like, strategically advantageous.
Right.
Yeah.
Centrally located to respond to anything.
There's fucking 4 of them.
Yeah.
Like, you can literally, you just need one room.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, someone had to buy the coffee maker. I'm just like, this just seems, I did like how the fact when they came for the first meeting, he had laid out little stacks for them, including, here's your FBI windbreaker. Because welcome to the task force.
With all the different fonts.
Yes, that was great. But I don't know. So you're right. There's some things that didn't quite make sense, even though I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So, Toby, you don't care for the backstories and the interpersonal stuff. I'm curious, how is this different than Slow Horses? Because that show has a lot of dialogue, a lot of backstory, and no one just says anything on that show either. And you love that show.
Yeah, I think the difference is, and when you were talking, I realized that maybe I should have been a little more specific. It's not that I don't like these things that have ambitions to be a little more deep or whatever. Like, The Wire, I think, certainly had that kind of stuff and I think was more successful. What I have a problem with this is that none of it seems very original. Like, it feels as though he's taking stuff that has been sort of examined in a bunch of other places and sticking it in here, like about allegiances to your motorcycle club versus your allegiances to your family and getting revenge for your dead brother. And all this shit just seems like you've seen it again and again, and there's sort of these archetypal things, but he doesn't do anything really different with them. Again, other than if there's an opportunity for somebody to be killed, like that person most likely is going to get killed, right? There's very few people who survive this unless you are not a violent person. I think that's like your only way of getting out of this. Because if you show the slightest bit of violence, you will eventually die in this. And I mean, the body count is unbelievable. Like the body count in just like a few scenes, you're like, holy shit, like this would be the worst massacre in the history of that community. And it happens like 2 or 3 times in the course of the show. So anyway, I just kind of felt, again, you can do a lot of stuff. And if you do it well and in a way that's new and bring new eyes to it, like that's awesome. But this, I just kind of felt like it was like, all right, you're kind of mining other sort of better things for the thematic content and for the relationships and stuff. And then you kind of put it in these trappings of what looks like prestige TV, with the atmosphere. Obviously a lot of money got put into it. You got Ruffalo and some other people who are stars, but in the end, it's like a pale version of like a bunch of other things. And there's the same thing with Mayor of Easttown, right? I mean, Mayor of Easttown, which I think is a lot better than this. Like, again, at the end, he's unwilling to go far enough in that one, which is that, it was a death by accident. It was a murder by accident. So there's nobody who's really at fault. It's just one of those things that happened. And I remember that being something that I was just like, you go through all this and that's your fucking ending. It's like, whoops, it's happened before. It's always when people like their characters too much to be like, actually, this guy's a fucking piece of shit, even though he can act in a good way in other places. And in this, I kind of felt the same way.
Yeah. Speaking of other things, you can check us out at Patreon.
Yes.
We've got all sorts of other
Very
things
smooth,
there.
Kevin.
Yeah. If you go to patreon.com/Partners in Crime Media, you get all sorts of cool stuff exclusive to us, including the Crime Writers on After Show. This time on the After Show, we're making a big announcement for Patreon. We've got a new piece of content coming out every week. It's a podcast called Something's Off.
Something's Off.
And the co-host is Mel Barrett, who joined Rebecca for many episodes of the Readathon. Mel joins the four of us on the After Show for a discussion about what this new show is, and maybe some of us to throw some ideas at Mel and Rebecca for
very good ideas
for cases that they could cover and things that they could talk about on that show. So you will get the audio version of that on Patreon. Video version's also going to be out there in the world. You can check
on
that
YouTube.
out too. But you also get other exclusive content from us at Patreon, including Married with Podcast, our advice podcast. You get Toby Ball's Deep Dive Book Club podcast. Right now, you can hear Toby's discussion on the book, The Adversary. If you join us at the Bricker scale level, you get an additional podcast, and that's Leave It to Bricker. And this time, Laura Bricker is solving mysteries in the woods because she's going on a fox hunt.
Yes, I am. I think my favorite line of that one was, "Do you want to see the fox urine?" Yes, I do.
Who would say no to that? Exactly. Who could possibly say no to that?
Not me.
Yeah. If you join us at the Let's Do What We Do level, you'll get all this, plus episodes of Crime Writers on early and ad-free. And if you join us as a deep diver, you're going to get all that other stuff, but you're also going to get to watch Toby, join him on the live stream when he records the deep dive. Toby, the last book that you talked about in the next episode coming up has to do with the book, The Art Thief. Tell us who was on that discussion with you.
So it was our very tall and handsome producer, Olivia Burdett, favorite of the show, Bill Rankin, and my co-host on More Like Ancient Aliens, Brandon R. Reynolds.
Nice.
All sorts of great people helping us out here on Patreon. One way to get it, though, if you're not sure, you can join us on Patreon for 7 days for free, and you cancel with no charge. It's at patreon.com/Partners in Crime Media.
All right. Kevin. Does that end our business section?
Thus ends the business section.
I'm going to go ahead and fade the music out, but not before I give a tip to folks who are listening. Sign up for our newsletter. It's awesome. It's free. It's got a super high open rate because it's so good. Kevin writes it. It's like a look inside the Kevin brain. I love it so much. CrimeWritersOn.com. Sign up. It's free, and you will not regret signing up for this newsletter. It's very fun. Right, Kevin?
Yes.
Thus ends our business section. I'm going to fade that music out. So, Laura?
Yes.
When this show starts and we meet Robbie and Cliff, Robbie obviously is there's like Tom and there's Robbie, and they're these two men and they're similar in certain ways and they're sort of living these parallel lives. And of course, one is on the hunt for the other, which is going to come together later. But unlike other shows we've watched like this, and I hope you don't roll your eyes at me, but I know you're gonna. Very often, like the anti-hero, like the one on the bad side, it's like you come to like them, right? But like they're also super shitty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel that way about Tom, other than the fact that he does go into that house and gets into a gunfight and has to kill that guy. He's like not a shitty person.
He didn't want to.
I mean, I really like Robbie. Like, I would be cool if Robbie were my uncle, I guess I'm saying.
Right. No, I think he's a great character because, yeah, you're like, okay, he's ripping off drug houses with his buddy Cliff that, they're the trash guys together.
R.I.P. Cliff.
Yeah, sorry, Cliff. I couldn't even be in the room when that happened. But Robbie
but he's still fresh because they wrapped him up in saran wrap.
That's right.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just
Locks
like
in the
that.
freshness.
Was it Klinger? Was it Press and Seal?
Press and Seal.
Oh, God, no. But back to Robbie, because I don't want to talk about that horrible scene. But Robbie, I felt like he had heart. Like there's an empathy that he had for, not only, his niece who's taking care of his children, but also for Sam, who's the little boy that he takes in after they, inadvertently kill Sam's parents during, this situation.
Just a detail.
Look, you see the one with the black feathers is kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
That one's Gertie. She's nice. She'll let you pet her.
I wish humans could talk to animals, especially a deer.
Why a deer? What do you want to say to deer specifically?
I tell them not to cross the street and to stay in the forest. Because a lot of deer die trying to cross the street.
You get the sense he's a decent human being and that he has his own sort of moral compass that he's following. But for me, it was like, yeah, he's only doing this because these are the people that killed his brother. And then he's going to head off to Canada.
Yeah.
He had all
he's
his
not
little
dark
brochures.
at home, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
No,
not dark at home.
He's got his chickens. He's like an appropriate dad. He's trying to dance with his daughter before the father-daughter dance. And she's like, no, you're so embarrassing. And he's a good friend. And I feel like, you know, there's that scene in the car with him and Tom.
Yes.
Which I thought was, I liked that scene because it was like, again, he's kidnapped Tom, but he's also having this discussion with him about a kind of little foreshadowing there. Like, well, have you seen people die when you were a priest? And like, how did that go? And also kind of talking through things with him in a way that also did not feel like, boy, this is this horrible character that I really want to hate. It's more like I'm rooting for him now.
Right.
I'm really rooting for him. And especially when I'm like, oh no, he is not getting killed by the same person who killed his brother. No.
Jason's body count was pretty high by the time this was done.
I hated Jason.
Jason deserved what he got.
I wanted to hate Jason, yes.
What happened to Jason?
Jason got shot in the middle of the head by Grasso when he was dragging Maeve out to the car.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Grasso had dragged
That's
into
right,
his car, and he was like, bang.
Literally his last act on Earth.
Not Grasso.
Both of them.
Grasso survives. We see him in the hospital after.
He's fuck that. Jesus.
He survives.
He's able to have one last talk with the boss.
He's going to have to have the consequences of his dirty
actions.
You. That's right.
Well, then come. Easy.
There's a big difference between saying you know something and being able to prove it.
There's like a million miles between that or something like that.
Yeah. So, Kevin, what do you think about the Darkhearts as characters? And what do you think about like the sort of that vibe?
Are you going to sue those guys, by the way?
No, that's Darkheart, all one word. And our book, Darkheart, is 2 words. So I think
it's about that. All right.
Yeah. I wish we could say we copyrighted the term Darkheart, but no, we aren't suing them. But I will say, Toby, you gotta love a motorcycle gang that's in it for the money, not the racism.
You don't know they're not in it for the racism.
Oh no, that's what they said.
Oh, they did?
That's what they said. Yeah. Oh, these guys, they're professional. Right when they're having the debrief earlier on, they're like, oh no, these are the crime guys, right? This is basically the Delco Mafia.
I'm sure they're also racist though, because they kind of code that way.
Well, I got to say, if the Darkhearts spoke Spanish, they would have known that trouble was a brewing, because they just got to listen to all the side conversations. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting setup. Yeah, obviously they're scary. There's a couple of actors that either spent a whole lot of time in the makeup room getting tattoos all over their face, or they went to the casting call and said, guess what, sir? This is the one role in Hollywood you possibly could play. It's the guy with the tattoos all over his face and his head. But, he said Jason kind of, he does code as sort of hot-headed. But Perry, I thought was really interesting. First of all, because he was kind of clean cut for a motorcycle.
He was the father figure.
Jason, whatever it was. It was, but I did find him very magnetic. And
sort of that knife.
Oh, ouch. So did the knife found him magnetic. He ends up killing Jason's wife, right?
Yes, half by accident.
Yeah, you definitely he did a good job as sort of the actor of sort of telegraphing what Perry was thinking all along, right? That he just didn't trust this one or that one. And it's good that he gave Jason kind of a beatdown with the chain for, killing somebody that he shouldn't have. Then they were friends again. But I thought the Perry character was really. Yeah, no, it was really interesting.
Because he was going to kill Jason, and then he chickened out, and then Jason killed him. They were not friends.
No, they were friends at that point.
You know what friends means?
He was like his adopted son.
Friends don't kill friends' wives.
Yeah.
And then decide that they have to. But he did. He
and leave their monogram.
He was reluctant to kill Jason upon the orders of the higher ups of the home club. And he has this, again, Toby, they were talking about the thematic. What's the last thing that he does is that he walks naked into the water.
That's right, very Christ-like.
Very, symbolic of baptism and a new life. And he's trying to, it seems like at the last minute, he wants to turn over a new leaf and not do the bad thing.
Walking into the water on this show.
Yeah, a lot of, and getting killed.
Yeah. There are some plot holes, and Toby, you pointed out one of them. One of them is that I think that there is misdirection to make us think that Martha Plimpton, Tom's boss, is the leak. Right, Toby?
Yeah, she says after she meets with, I think it's with Ruffalo, and he leaves, and then she picks up the phone and calls somebody and says, yeah, we've got a problem, or I think we have a problem or something. And as far as I know, there was never any follow-up on that. Like,
No.
I don't know who she's supposedly calling. And the whole
They
thing
should just
is...
tell someone else in the FBI that he said there was a leak.
Well, I'll point out that there was a scene again. Somebody walks out, and then this other FBI agent, the young guy, walks in, and he says, I've got something. And so I think that kind of sets that in motion. But you're right, it could go either way.
I mean, I think the idea is you're supposed to go away thinking, oh, she's the leak.
Yeah.
And it's sort of misdirection to keep you away from the fact that they've narrowed it down to 3 people, unless it's her. So it just seemed like one of those things where, again, like I think a better show would feel like they needed to explain, like rather than just having somebody say something just like sort of out of the blue that sort of implicates themselves and just leave it alone and show later that it's somebody else. Like it feels as though a sort of more thoughtful show would have like somehow put it in a context in which you understand what she was saying at the time. So it wasn't just a like, look over here, like a sleight of hand type thing. I don't want to take like a big issue with it, but I didn't think like Robbie, as much as you want to root for him, like he's not a good father. He's going around robbing like these violent people. Like the likelihood that he's going to either be in jail or dead and leave his kids is very high. He kidnaps the child of a bike gang member and brings them back to the house to live with his family where he's not around most of the time. That doesn't seem like a great idea to me. While he's trying to keep his head low, he beats the shit out of this dude for no real reason. He just pounds the shit out of him. It's like, this is like the one thing you can really do to fuck yourself over is to call attention to yourself like this. And he didn't even do anything. He was trying to take a picture of you. You put up your hand and you threw away his camera. So why don't just walk away? So anyway, he was fine. And I kind of like that guy from see him in Ozark when he was Laura Linney's mentally disturbed brother. So I like him as an actor. And I thought this character was fine. But as far as being this super sympathetic, like nice guy, like he might be that way, but in order to make the plot all kind of work, he has to do these fucked up, stupid things.
Yes.
That no normal father, like when I kidnap kids, I don't bring them to my house because I don't want my family involved. I've got a safe house out in Nottingham.
But are there chickens?
They're
I
chickens.
don't always kidnap children, but when I do, I serve Dos Equis.
Yeah.
You're right about Tom. What's his name again? Tom Pelphrey?
Tom Pelphrey.
Yeah, Tom Pelphrey. Like, not only in Ozark, but we thought he was the only good part of Love and Death, his lawyer character, which was the lesser
What's Love
Candy.
and Death?
You remember Candy with Jessica Biel?
Yep.
And they had the same thing on HBO, but it was called Love and Death, which was about as original as you have to know
Right.
it was. His character comes in like in the last episode, and you're like, he's got a lot of charisma here. This whole thing should have been told from his point of view.
He's great.
He's a good
lame-o.
actor.
Yeah, he's really great. And I think if this is going to be a performance that a lot of people are going to remember.
I'm just going to say,
except for Toby.
I am a long-term Ruffalo fan. I have liked Mark Ruffalo for many, many years. I think Zodiac is the first or second best Fincher film. He's great in it. He's also had a lot of physical challenges in his life. I believe he had a stroke. And he's so soulful. And even he plays the Incredible Hulk with stupid soulfulness. Like, I love this guy so much. And I love seeing him in this show. And Laura, I know that Toby thinks it's too much, but he has a shit ton of backstory. He was a priest.
Oh, yeah.
Then he met his wife, played by Mireille Enos, who's literally just in like 3 flashbacks, and that's it. And she's an amazing actor. They adopt these 2 kids. One of the kids has severe mental illness and ends up during the pandemic really spiraling and pushing his adopted mother down the stairs and kills her by accident. And he's
No, it's not by accident.
Okay.
The voices told him to do it.
That's right. So he ends up killing her because, he's obviously his mental illness really spiked during the pandemic. So he's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
But I love him, and I love the fact that he's an alcoholic and really struggling with this thing and doesn't want to see his son for a while. Like, I know it's unrealistic and it's too much, but he makes it feel real to me, and his redemption and character arc and not keeping Sam at the end, it all feels real to me.
Yeah, it felt real to me too. It felt very believable. I liked the angle also where we have his biological daughter who's had a falling out with him because of the adopted children. And, now she's back and she's got her own baggage going on.
She was so
with her.
bitchy.
Yeah, she was. But then she
and
bonds
those bangs
with.
are really harsh.
Yeah,
I think the
they
bangs
are.
were rough.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. No wonder her husband left her.
Toby's eyes just went so big.
I'm glad you said that.
Toby's thinking about his wife's haircut all of a sudden. He's like, huh.
But I think you have this setup where you have this man who's a priest and he's being faced with this moral dilemma of how to approach his adopted son. And, his adopted daughter wants to speak at the sentencing. He's not going to speak. The other ones don't want to speak, but he goes to drop off a suit, but he doesn't go in to talk to him. And so that this is going to be at the end, the story arc. This is the part that's going to need to be resolved, is how is he going to reach the place where he can come to terms with his son and seeing his son and showing up in whatever way he chooses to show up when they get to court. And then through the lens of him bringing in the little boy, and also just this cast of characters that he deals with, it feels like getting back out there and seeing other children, because I think children and trauma is like another big theme of this show. But it's you see him at the end now and you're like, okay, this is satisfying, even though I felt like we had kind of the climax in that episode before. And you're like, what are they going to, you're like, no, they have to resolve Tom and his son. Because you're thinking he's a priest. He's got to forgive, but he can't forgive because his wife is dead. And how is he going to get to that place? So I did like that part of his character, and I liked the way it resolved. And it did feel appropriate for him not to keep the boy.
It's easy to talk about forgiveness when it's not your loss. I miss your mother. I miss my son. There's not a day that goes by when I don't wake up and think for a minute, that didn't happen. That couldn't possibly have happened. Not to us, we were so. But I did.
Kevin, I have one last thing to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Why the hell did they have to kill Lizzie? I thought that was a totally unnecessary death, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, what deaths are? First of all, it's okay. It was just a character. The actress is fine. She went home. She went home earlier than everybody else. It was an interesting way to do it. I mean, everybody's getting shot, right? So you would think, oh yeah, if she's not coming home, it's because she took one between the eyes or something like that. But the whole way it played out, where her eardrums busted because of the gun that went off right next to her head,
right?
And so now she's disoriented, and you're like, well, what is the point of this? And yeah, she just, in sort of not a silly way, but in just
a dumb way,
the star-crossed way, the way that was unnecessary. Where she ends up she just can't hear the car coming because she's, I thought was, maybe a more interesting way of killing off the character than her sort of,
she was just coming into her own. She was just
sure, right? But as opposed to her like dying in like a blaze of heroic glory, right? Being Annie Oakley and jumping from a boulder and shooting two guys in midair, right? Instead of something like that, the fact that her life is wasted ends up making it more difficult for Grasso and the other characters, right?
I was going to say, Kevin, I think that's the purpose of it, is that Grasso's character has some sort of redemption arc at the end, because otherwise you're really hating him. And now you're seeing he's really impacted by her death. And I feel like that's where you see his character then propel forward. I don't know if you felt that way. It felt like that was the purpose of her death.
Yeah, I mean, I found that like all of the chess pieces with her moving, sort of this character does this, and I thought it was very well done, and I liked it. I definitely went all in on like, I get everybody's motivation right now, and it is super locked in, right? Between like, why would you take the kid? Why would now you're stuck with a bunch of drugs that you have to get rid of and you can't move, right? So I just felt like the stacking of the different complications, I thought that was done really well, and that's why I liked it.
Why did he have to move the drugs?
He didn't.
Well, he could have flushed them down and not had any money, but he certainly felt like, oh, if I do move these drugs, we, Cliff and the two of us, it'll be a huge score.
He didn't have to. That was actually a huge mistake.
Sure, of course he didn't have to.
Huge mistake.
Right. But if he didn't do it, well, then this is a 2-episode series, and that's like not how good drama works. So you want characters to do, if you expect and anticipate everything a character does, the entire thing becomes predictable. And so you want characters that are going to do things that surprise you and sometimes act against their interest. That way you get, that's how you build conflict.
Because it seemed to me that it would have been easy just to take that in the fucking truck up to Canada and sell it up there.
Yes.
And then you wouldn't have had any of these
on
problems.
The island. Yes. True.
So anyway, I don't know.
He doesn't know anybody in Canada who's going to be able to carry that kind of weight, Toby.
You,
Come on.
you get a lot of friends when you show up with that much drugs.
We need to turn it into money somehow so Maeve can keep it.
Yeah, you could have Drug Island. Instead of Cocaine Island, Larry, you could have Canadian Fentanyl Island.
Fentanyl Island off in the woods in British Columbia.
Yeah.
But no grocery store.
See, that's another great idea, Dad. Why don't you take me up to some island with no food and no schools or friends, but a ton of fentanyl? That'll be a great place to raise the kids.
Toby.
All right, let's let our listeners know, should they check out Task on HBO, starring Mark Ruffalo and Tom Pelphrey. Laura Bricker, thumbs up or thumbs down for Task?
Yeah, this is a big thumbs up for me. I could not stop watching it when I started watching it. And I was so disappointed that I then had to wait for the finale last Sunday. I was like, what happens? Like, I was up until like 1, 2 in the morning watching this. I loved the development of all the characters, so that all the characters in this, to me, a lot of them felt like they had a lot of emotional stakes. And that was something that I felt invested in these characters as I'm following along. And they were, for me, it was relatable. And I think you had people that were having moral dilemmas. There was a lot of interesting themes we didn't get into. Like, there was like this biblical baptism theme. There was themes of fathers. There was themes of children raised in trauma and how they respond to that trauma as they move forward in their lives. And it was also just really addictive to watch. And I just kept watching the next episode. There are some hard scenes. There is one episode that I essentially just like hid under a blanket for and plugged my ears because I didn't want to hear it. I peeked once and that was a mistake. But other than that, this is a thumbs up for me.
Toby Ball, thumbs up or thumbs down for Task?
Well, when I was a kid, my parents used to take me to this ice cream place, and they used to give like these little, you'd ask for a kid-size ice cream, and they give you just like a scoop, and that seemed like the right amount of ice cream to get. But as I got older, I noticed that the scoops kept getting bigger and bigger, and then suddenly it was 2 scoops and then 3 scoops, and it was just more than I could eat. So anyway, this is just an elaborate thing based on a comment I made earlier. I didn't like this. It's got all the trappings of prestige television. I thought that it was sort of recycling a bunch of things that I've seen, or anybody who watches this kind of stuff has seen before. I think he kind of goes for this maximalist approach where, for instance, like when there are action scenes, particularly towards the end, instead of just having 2 people duke it out, you've got to have 3 different people all duking it out at the exact same time and be cutting back and forth between them and stuff. It's just way over the top, which is fun in some shows, but this show takes itself so seriously that it comes across as being kind of ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, I didn't like this. The acting is all really good. Again, it's got all the trappings. Like, the cinematography is awesome. It's very moody. But when it comes to the actual script and what's happening, it just seems as though there were themes and outcomes that he wanted to kind of go on and on about. And it just felt like everything was kind of set up to maximize that stuff and not in a way that felt very natural. So anyway, I'm sort of a mild thumbs down. I mean, it doesn't, there's certainly worse stuff out there, but I really liked the first 2 episodes. And then after that, to me, it just kind of went off a cliff. So that's my deal.
Kevin Flynn.
Yeah, I'm a thumbs up. I think this does a great job of capturing a sense of place, very much like Mayor of Easttown. I certainly feel like they've established the Delco Gothic look, and the accents are spot on. The acting's really, really good, and I did enjoy the way that they set up the conflicts here, the problems that each of these characters have to solve, and the meditation on certain themes like grief, redemption. Those things I thought were handled really well in an interesting way. Definitely the performance of Tom Pelphrey is something that I'm going to take away from. He's been great in the things that we have seen him in. He was just sort of very mesmerizing, very soulful, I think a really interesting anti-hero. And all the supporting performances were really great too. So as far as, prestige television goes, I like this. I definitely am a thumbs up.
I'm a thumbs up too. I really liked it, even though there were parts of it I could not watch because I was too scared. As Kevin knows, there's a whole episode where I was like, I'm just going to go to bed early and read and let you watch this one without me because I read what happens in it and I don't want to see any of that.
I'll let you know when it's over.
So it's a hard watch for me because suspense is difficult for me. That being said, the things that Toby finds fault with in this, I don't mind because it's a drama, right? It's not a scripted version of a real story. It's a drama. It's to me supposed to be heightened, supposed to be over the top, supposed to be overstuffed with thematic elements and great performances and shootouts and all that stuff. So I didn't mind any of that. I really liked it. I love Mark Ruffalo. I think Tom Pelphrey's great and I think he's great in everything. But I also think Mark Ruffalo is one of the most underrated, should be celebrated more actors of our time. And I think he's wonderful in this. And of course, the actor who plays Maeve, Amelia Jones, absolutely fantastic. I predict she's going to win an Emmy for this. And I'll be right because I was right about that kid from Adolescence. So yeah, big thumbs up for me for Task. Now it's time for my favorite part of the podcast, a little something I like to call the Crime of the Week. Authorities in Polk County, Florida say they've arrested 2 McDonald's customers who were not loving it when they had to wait for their drive-thru order. Officials say the Davenport and Mickey D's overnight staff got overwhelmed at 3 a.m. with a large number of online orders. By the time Peter Story and Nicholas Jones made it to the window, an employee said they couldn't take any more orders from the drive-thru. They were so hangry, they went into the restaurant and threatened to beat up the window server. That's when coworker Yohan Soto jumped in between the guys who were beefing. And because it's Florida, of course, the McDonald's employee had a gun. There was a struggle for the weapon, which went off and hit Story in the neck. Police say the gunshot wound was minor and the unhappy customers were arrested. They say Soto won't face any charges because he acted in self-defense. So panel, who knew things could get so exciting at this McDonald's? What's the new item on their menu? Laura Bricker.
Pop Rocks.
What do you think, Toby, is the new McDonald's item on the menu at this location?
The McGlock.
What do you think, Kevin?
Chicken McBullets.
God, it's got to be the McRib. Come on. That's the only thing that gets people so excited is the McRib.
How about the very unhappy meal?
Laura Bricker, if folks want to follow you online, how can they find you there?
You can find me at Laura Bricker on Blue Sky and Instagram.
What about you, Toby? How can you be found?
I can be found at TobyBallNH on Blue Sky and at TobyBall603 on Instagram. And on Wednesday, I think, the trailer for my new podcast is coming out. So
Nice.
Check your Rip Current feed.
What about you, Kevin? How can you be found?
I'm at Kevin P. Flynn.
You can follow me on YouTube, on the Something's Off podcast, and on all the socials at Reb Lavoie. Mostly, though, you should join our Facebook discussion group. That's where you can get all the latest news, behind-the-scenes stuff, and interact with other fans of the show who are all, by the way, pretty rad. Get episodes early and ad-free and everything else we make at Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia. Our theme song was composed and performed by Tyler Gibbons, and our editor is the wonderful, tall, and lovely Livy Burdett. The EP of this show is Kevin. This show is recorded in Studio C, the closet in our New Hampshire basement, where we also secretly drink our cocktails from a plastic Philadelphia Phillies cup. On behalf of all the crime writers, thanks so much for listening. We will catch you later.
You'll see it on YouTube later on.
Is there a link we could put somewhere that people can join if we just give them a link?
What did I just
No,
say?
I know, but is there, are you going to post a link?
What did I just
Are you going to post
say?
a link somewhere else, like on Facebook or in the show notes?
What do you mean?
For the event? I'm just asking if you're going to post a link in the show notes for this show. So people have, but never mind.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Keep all this in, please.
Yes.
Yeah, please keep all this in. Yeah, please interrupt me more with technical stuff that doesn't have to be talked about. All right.
Partners in Crime Media.